Can you put free comic book day pulls on your pull list?
They are.
So if they start dipping down too cold and lacking too much moisture, that's when they start the pages start curling at the bottom, and you get all the cracking and color breaking. You know, so like, what if somebody just like took the black mold comic? Like if somebody put a comic up to their nose and just like. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Collective Comics and the Lights Comics Action
Podcast?
Podcast. No, I was trying to think. I was like, is this episode 28 or 29?
29. It's episode 29.
Oh, man. We're getting deep into them.
Deep.
I say that every time.
Deep.
It's like routine.
Deep. Yes, episode 29, man. 29. All right, around. Anyways, yeah, next one's 30. 30.
Yeah, 30 weeks and
the
counting.
Big 3-0. We should throw a birthday party.
Right.
Next episode should be a birthday party.
Every week is another birthday or
yeah. We should have done.
podcast
We
party.
should have done 25 as a. Well, we screwed up 25. We had two 25s. Like what
Yeah.
we said 25
Yeah.
twice. We corrected it in the editing and stuff. But yeah, we should do a birthday party for 30, and then we should do a birthday party for 50. Oh, we should do a birthday party for 52 because that's a year.
52.
Yeah, 52 weeks is a year.
Oh, yeah, we should. I mean, that is a
Yeah,
birthday,
yeah.
pretty much. Once
Yeah.
a year. So anniversary.
Yeah, it's just not a nice number. Like 50 is a nice number, you know?
Yeah.
It's a nice even number.
It looks better in the thumbnail for 50.
Yeah.
That's why like the Harley Davidsons have like the 50-year patch on them.
Right, yeah. Well, they also don't just release motorcycles every week. They're like, this is our 52nd motorcycle.
Right.
How many
This year.
motorcycles would they have? So many motorcycles. If they did one a week, for how many years have they been around? Motorcycles. Anyways, as of recording this, now finally, the Selling Superman episode has been out for a week.
Yes.
So you guys, so by the time this comes out, it'll be out for 2 weeks, but so on and so forth. Anyways, it's been out for a week now. So we just want to touch on it a little bit. I want to just reestablish the fact that it was such a cool episode to do, you know, just getting their personal perspective on the whole situation was really cool to me.
Yeah, I didn't know which, you know, I was like, this could go into collecting talk. This could go into talking about the books. This can go into a whole different kinds of directions, and the direction that it ended up going was super like heartfelt.
Yeah.
And, you know, just once again, grew me more attached to
The project in
Exactly.
general. Yeah. And these guys, you know, Adam is the director, and he was close to the family growing up, but he wasn't directly involved. But even just growing closer to Adam and his thought process attached to it was just super cool.
Mm-hmm. And seeing what they have grow and how they're doing with the website and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They threw us in the newsletter, which was super cool of them, and you know, it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun, but it did get very, very heavy at points.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know really what to say. I was left speechless multiple times, and you know, feeling like I didn't have the right to even say anything.
Yeah.
You know, I just had the right that I had was to sit there and listen and absorb it, you know.
Yeah, it was interesting
some of it.
too, because like only thing we could see before that is what we see in the media, you know, and the trailer, and you know, the few little clips and stuff that they post to their channel. But it was even like, we wanted to have a couple questions going in, just to have something to fall back on in case, you know, some conversation was left empty or anything, which it never was.
Yeah.
You know, we never even needed the questions.
Right.
But you know, going in, the big thing that Darren wanted to talk about was like the media is kind of doing something to this whole story that we don't want to see, and we want to tell you guys what the story really is, and getting that perspective was so cool too, you know.
Yeah, and it definitely, you know, we asked him beforehand. He's like, well, you know, some, I guess, misunderstandings are going around, you know, the community, and people are kind of forming their own opinions on the way that the perspective of the newscasts made it seem, you know, and I guess almost kind of attacking them a little bit. You know, they were saying some pretty harsh stuff. Because I was able to kind of go back and try to do some research, and once they had informed us of that I went back and kind of looked through some of those comments, and they were gnarly.
Yeah,
they were gnarly. You know, and I don't even know where these people think they have the right to comment. You know,
I mean, we did have.
I guess it's the safety of the screen,
right?
And the keyboard that you're never gonna have to face this dude face to face. You know, and I had no opinions whatsoever that were anywhere close to what those comments kind of were, and I was even just like kind of nervous.
Yeah,
talking to Darren and everything. Just I never wanted to come off because I wanted to ask the questions that, of course, we all want to know, but I never wanted to be rude or anything to come off as rude. And I feel like, especially like with newscasts, and that's kind of almost what they're purposely trying to do.
Right.
And I tried to stay far away from that.
Well, it's cool too because
possible.
Just going in, just wanting to make sure everybody's comfortable. And I was like, is there anything you do want to talk about, or is there anything you don't want to talk about? And he's like, talk about anything. This is a story. It's going out there, and I just want to set the record straight and everything. And it was super cool to have that, And we did have some comments on our own video, so we want to address them a little bit, just because, now that everybody's had it for a week, and we want to just touch on those. Rye Bali just talks about everybody judging the whole situation from a 3-minute news clip, and I think that's exactly what we're talking about. Is like, we don't know yet. The documentary hasn't come out yet. We don't have the full story. So, I mean, everybody judging them and throwing shade at them, or, saying it's this or saying it's that, like, you don't know. Like,
they don't. Yeah, 100%. And if they would have taken that extra step to go to sellingsuperman.com and watch the trailer, they probably would have seen that it is very much the opposite.
Yeah.
Yes, these comics have great value, but this is so much more. That is like the smallest pea in the pod.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah, even just from the trailer, it's still such a fraction of what's actually coming. You know what I mean? They're not done shooting yet. This is a progressing story. This is an ever evolving thing. Darren said in the podcast, like, this is a huge burden, and it's going to take me time to get through everything.
Yep.
It's even when the documentary comes out, like, he's not going to be done dealing with it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
This is ever evolving. So
and he's definitely not done collecting comics.
Yeah, that was
which
that
is
was
the
cool
crazy
too.
part.
Yeah.
Growing up around comics to where you're not supposed to look at them, not supposed to touch them. He can do what he wants with the comics now.
Yeah.
And the comics that he chooses to buy, and the fact that he enjoys comics now is really awesome.
Yeah.
I think, he's becoming part of the community. And then, going back to that Phantaz label, the story, have you dove in pretty deep with that label? It is very intense and in depth.
Yeah, and everything's super thought out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like CGC went to him, he's like, put whatever label on it you want. Like,
right.
Everything on that label has a very specific story, and there's a reason why they did what they did, as far as why CGC marked it as this collection
of Providence versus a pedigree.
Right. Like, it's all thought out, and there's a reason for everything. And we're not going to know all those reasons. We're not going to know the whole story until this documentary comes out.
Yeah. And realistically, because of the situation and how the comics were preserved and stored and kept pretty secret, he could have gotten a pedigree, but he chose not to. Granted, the rules are that he has to acquire everything firsthand, and he acquired most of it firsthand, but nobody else knows that. Right. Darren knows that. He could have said whatever he wanted to and got the pedigree label if he really wanted to, but he wanted to stay true to it.
Yeah.
And that speaks, volumes to, just to, I think, to the community. When, I was literally just watching a video this morning to where it's talking about the shop that kind of took advantage of this old lady who came in with a bunch of comics, key comics, like thousands of dollars. The dude's like, they're old, they're cracked, the spine's kind of broken right here, yada yada yada. I'll give you $55 for all of them. Okay, sounds like a good deal. Turns around and makes $10,000 on it. When there's that just should say enough for you.
Yeah. I mean, he's very straightforward with everything that he does, and he's not hiding anything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
And everybody wants to say what they want, and like you said, they're protected by a screen and a keyboard, and whatever that means to them is one thing. But I'm excited about this documentary. Verified also commented on our podcast and said every book has its story. He enjoys the story, and he actually has some books from the collection. So
that's awesome.
That's super cool too. And that's exactly what it is. We don't know the story of these books yet, and that's what the documentary is here for, to actually understand what that story is.
Fully.
Right.
Fully. We know a little bit of the story, but that's only a little bit, Right. Like we said before, we planned for an hour podcast, and they were, I don't know. They kept giving,
right, yeah.
They kept giving and kept wanting to tell the story.
I mean, they have a lot of passion going into this project as well. There's a lot of feeling. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of everything in this story.
Yeah.
And I think I said during the podcast too, it's like they could have just done any other documentary, cashed in on it, but they're telling the story. They chose to make the story come to life rather than just look at this book, we have this book, you know what I mean? And just make a bunch of money on it. He could have done a lot of things. He said he's not in it for the money. I totally believe that based on the way that he talked to us and relayed the information to us. Like there's a bigger story, and I'm excited for this documentary to come out so we can see, where the story is now, or where the story will be at that point, knowing that they could probably put out 2, 3, 4, because this is going to take some time to take care of. And I mean, Darren's not going to do a part 2. I don't think. He said,
"Oh no,
this is it. This is more than
he wanted.
This is more attention than he wanted to bring to it." But I mean,
and he's gonna have it. Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
And but I mean, he's turning it into, like, he's donating to charities. He's doing it. He's selling to smaller buyers. He's doing all this stuff. Like, it's really cool. So. I mean,
it's just been a bit overwhelming for somebody that never wanted this. We, or at least me, would want 300,000 comic books, but like he said, I wouldn't have a place to store it. Right. Do I have that right now? No. Do I have the resources to get into climate control and all that kind of stuff right now? No way.
Right.
Which gets us into our next topic.
Right.
Explosions.
So coming off of that Selling Superman episode got me thinking maybe we should start talking a little bit about preserving your comics and how to properly keep them stored, because Darren did talk about humidification and the temperatures and making sure that the comics don't get too hot, don't get too cold, and things of that nature, that there's not, how to keep them safe and how to keep them
definitely not something that most people would think about when they have a short box or two, like sitting in their bedroom or, in their closet, but when you have 300,000 comics, there's something that you definitely need to think about. If you have a collection, if you have a shop, if you have a store, if you,
or even if you just do want to keep a couple long boxes, short boxes,
right.
Preserved and you want to keep your comics nice, the way to do that, is, not all that clear. It actually took some research and a little bit of digging for me to be able to find this information. So I guess temperature wise, I'm supposed to say 68 degrees. That's like a definite.
Really?
68.
Just 100%. That's
68.
Like, not give or take.
Yeah. Not a range. Not from 65 to 68. Not from 65 to 70. 68 degrees.
Yeah, I think we can connect some of this to guitars just because we both worked with guitars and we both play guitar and do all that. So like there's these same rules for there, but there's usually a range. And I mean, not to talk about weather again, but we live in one of the worst places for all of it, and Darren is not that far away.
Midwest.
He's in Michigan and we're in Indiana.
He's a state away.
We get the driest of dry winters, and we get the humidest.
The most humid, yeah. Something like that.
we get the most humidity that we ever see in the summer. You know, it's like we get the winters. I don't know. I've never been to Alaska, but we get really cold winters with super dry air. We get really humid summers. You know,
we get summers that we have to stay inside because it's too hot outside and it's a state of emergency, and we get winters that it's too cold outside and it's a state of emergency.
I mean, I lived in Georgia for a while. I lived in Texas. I was in Louisiana in the middle of summer, Alabama. You know, it gets just as humid here for the most part. You know,
which probably comes to a surprise to most people, but like we're not exaggerating,
right? Yeah, it's humid up here. Yeah, in the summer.
I'll take Phoenix. You know, I think any day, just because it's dry.
Right.
It's a dry heat. You know, I'm not sweating. It's hot, but you can't sweat.
So temperature is just 68.
68.
I mean,
on the dot.
That sounds perfect for me. All right, let's talk about humidity. What is the humidity like?
Humidity can change a little bit.
Okay, so there is a little bit of a range.
A little bit.
Okay, it's like half a degree, half a percentage.
Right. So with guitars, we kind of talk. It's kind of give or take about 10%. So for guitars, you kind of want to keep them a little bit more moist. And that guitars are going to be from 40 to 50, and comic books are from 35 to 40.
Okay,
so it's
that makes
right there.
That makes a little bit of sense, because if it was too humid, the pages would probably start molding and.
Oh yeah, they start absorbing the moisture in the air, and that's when you get, if you've ever gotten a comic book, or if you guys have ever bought collections, that's when you get that classic wave.
Yeah,
going
it's almost
through
like,
all the pages,
almost like water damage, but it's just from humidity.
Yeah, I mean it is pretty much water damage.
Yeah,
and it's almost impossible to get out. So you definitely don't want them too humid. You know, like to where a guitar kind of needs that.
Right.
The wood needs to breathe
absorb
and stay, hydrated.
Hydrate,
right? But at the same time, you don't want them to be too dehydrated. So if they start dipping down too cold and lacking too much moisture, that's when they start the pages start curling at the bottom, and you get all the cracking and color breaking and just like distressed look, and it gets dried out and very brittle.
Yeah,
at that point.
I mean, it's crazy too, because I mean that's why. Like the old stuff, like Golden Age and Silver Age, if you find something in like a 9, like you don't see 9.8s from that time period. You know what I mean?
No, you can't.
And it's just crazy to see even relatively good grades on those, just because people didn't think of that. They used worse. The paper was worse back then. Like everything was worse back then.
That's a major thing, and people like to compare the comic books to preserving, because other books like textbooks and other historic books have great value to them, just the same way that comic books do. Yeah. So they kind of take the same rules as those books. The thing is that comic books are even more delicate, and even the top industry people talk about it. This was printed on newspaper.
Same paper. Yeah,
it's newspaper grade.
So for people who don't know, a newspaper is this paper that you would get in the mail. For people who don't know, mail is something that used to come to your house every day. For people that don't know, just kidding. Right. Like that's crazy.
They called it like news ground paper or something. So it's like ground up.
Right, yeah, it's like recycled paper essentially.
Yeah, that's not meant to stay. You're not meant to keep newspapers.
Yeah, like old newspapers, you could look at them and they'd rip. You know what I mean? Like, you just grab it and you just have half a paper for some reason. You don't know why, and that's the stuff that this stuff used to be printed on. The quality difference is so crazy, and then on top of that, people not thinking comic books were going to be this big industry that it is today. Yeah, it's just something for the kids or something that you saw in the newspaper or something like that. And
100%. And then the Comics Code Authority.
Oh yeah,
and everybody, I would say, brainwashing the masses into believing that comic books were evil. And we're going to make your kids do bad things.
We don't still do that at all.
Dude, I mean, but now the thing is video games.
Yeah, Call of Duty. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy to know, especially like the temperature, the 68 degrees, definite. Knowing that and just knowing that back when this started, like, it was just a nothing situation. You know, it's like Star Wars. You know, Star Wars, nobody wanted to fund Star Wars because it was a stupid thing and nobody was going to like it and it was never going to get another movie and nobody cared about it. Even Harrison Ford was like, I don't want to be in this stupid movie that nobody cares about. And now look at it. You know what I mean?
Right. I very highly doubt that somebody went to the comic book store in 1938 when the first Superman came out and said, let me order a whole box of that.
Yeah, or what comic book store? You know what I mean? Like
The newsstand.
Yeah,
the newsstand.
There was,
give me everything.
Yeah, and
you know, and then let me not touch it.
That's the other thing too. Like these were on newsstands. That's where newsstand labels come from. They were just out on stands in the elements. You know what I mean? And that's where you would pick it up. Let alone like,
and that's why they're even so much more rare and would in most cases be more valuable than the direct edition cover.
Yeah, and then let alone like being in a shop that you can get it. Like I bought a comic a couple months ago that was literally framed on the wall in a comic shop.
Yeah.
You know, perfect, like kept in as good of condition as it possibly could be.
I was there, wasn't it?
Yeah. And or like let alone going to buy a slab. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
going to the store and seeing a slab on the wall and buying the graded, preserved and protected comic book.
Right. So just knowing where it came from to where it is, and now knowing how specific the storage, you know, the facts of the storage and how to store them and how to take care of them, you know, it's crazy, you know.
Which also goes back to just avoid the basement.
Yeah.
Avoid attics, avoid basements.
Right.
Because those are super hard to control unless they're, you know, super...
Well, yeah,
you know,
it's like fully finished, fully furnished.
Yeah, you'd have to kind of get the, you know, humidifiers in there and make sure that you can maintain that 68.
Yeah.
Or not 68, 35 to 40 percent humidity.
And that 68-degree weather.
Yeah.
Or not weather, but
in the room. Yeah, it always has to be 68 degrees. I know, like, while we're filming this podcast, I have comics in this room, and it definitely gets above 68 degrees in here because of all the lights.
I think it's like above 68 degrees right now, bro.
It's just me. But
oh, yeah. You put two of us in a room, and we'll start to balance people. We'll balance the temperature out.
We'll fog up the room. Fog up the windows.
The heat coming off, radiating off your body, and the cold coming from my heart is just really flattening out the room's temperature.
Start a tornado.
It's a monsoon in here.
Right. Oh, tsunami. But
that's what they called me in high school. But yeah, so, you know, it is crazy to think about too, like what we've talked about on the podcast before about like how comic books weren't a huge part of my life. Like I had them here and there. And more the movies and the collectibles were more my thing. I would have never known this stuff, you know, and it is crazy. Like even collectibles, I'm sure, you know, have that I'm unaware of, you know, if they're in the box, that box is made out of paper, and the paper, if it gets too humid, could mold, you know, you can have all these situations happen, you know. I indulge in a cigar from here. from time to time, I'll have a cigar, you know, and they have the same things. So they have humidors. They have.
You literally walk into a humid room,
right?
Because those cigars need to be that wet. You don't want to keep a comic book in there at all.
Right? Yeah.
You know, you'll start getting black mold, and if you do come across black mold, if you have any in your collection that do have mold on it, like an old book, take it out of the book and I guess quarantine it.
Yeah. Black mold is bad news.
It'll spread to everything else. It don't matter what it's made out of. It'll just go. Yeah. So take the black mold comic out. I would probably throw it away.
Be very careful because like
don't breathe it.
Yeah, if you get like ingest that, like black mold, you can't get rid of once it's in the system. What I know, I'm not a doctor
for your body.
Yeah, like
gosh.
You can like once. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I've been told some living situations in the Army were not great. Once you kind of are around black mold, I've heard like that it's just in you. Like there's other molds that you can deal with, like with antibiotics or whatever you deal with mold with. Never mind.
Do you ever have intrusive thoughts?
What? What?
Do you ever just like get those like really random intrusive thoughts, like when somebody's telling you a story and you're like, yeah, I definitely shouldn't do this, but then you're like, what if somebody really did that? And then you're like, so like, what if somebody just like took the black mold comic, like if somebody put a comic up to their nose and just like you know what I'm saying? Like, what would that do to your body?
Probably
I can't even
like
do
that,
it right now. Yeah, like just doing it to the air. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know what it would do. Probably not good things. I don't, please, we're not the Surgeon General. We're not the Surgeon General.
Dude, when intrusive thoughts take over, you're just like, what if? Like, what would happen? Like, I just like on a microscopic level, like
just eat it.
Just
eat the comic.
You don't. That's a good way to preserve them.
Just
don't
send
eat them.
Send it through the system.
Right.
You know, like
So it comes out the other
vaccines and stuff are just like small amounts of like introducing your body to something.
Right.
So you just have to eat a little bit of black mold. Do not do that.
Don't eat comic
Do not
books.
try this at home.
Yeah.
The stunts have been performed by professionals. All right. So,
Oh my gosh.
68
Look,
degrees.
68
What was the
degrees.
humidity percentage?
35 to 40%.
All right. Those are
And
the
then-
facts that we want you to leave.
Right. Well, I mean, and also
Yeah.
get yourself a short box if you're not keeping them in a
Yeah.
short box. Don't stack them up like this on a table. Keep them vertical and in a bagging board. The basics. Basics 101. If it's worth collecting, it's worth bagging. That's how it goes.
That's like records too. A lot of people don't know. Don't have a stack of records. Like
Yeah, vertical.
stack them vertically on a shelf.
You'll warp them.
Yeah, very badly.
Yep.
Dope. So like that's definitely stuff I didn't know. Mm-hmm. Got to try my. Well, I think we have an ongoing thing on the podcast about how bad I am at having comics. Somewhere,
Yeah, they're all over your desk, and just like you literally like last time I walked into your office, like you just had this pile of books right here. Like, yeah, I gotta put those away.
Yeah.
I think they're still there.
No, they're not. They're not.
I'm joking.
They're not there. Somewhere right in between us is a good place to be with collecting comics.
Right.
Don't be like me. You could be like him. Your comics would be in very good shape.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I read my comics. I read my comics. I touch my comics. I show you my comics.
Right,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
It's not like they're just put away like
Right.
that. But you know, if keep them out of the attic, put them. If you want to keep them like that or closer to that kind of thing, put them in the closet.
Yeah.
Closet is probably realistically the best, safest spot for them.
I just do this thing where like I buy like comics from the comic book shop and then I leave them in the bag that they come in and then I just set them on top of a slab.
Right, and
So-
and all that stuff is in a windowsill, just with the sun beating on it the whole time.
And then I see if they need a drink and I pour some water on them.
Don't scare me, man. No, I'm joking.
Well, they look thirsty. And
Right? Yeah, every time I clean them, I just pour some bleach on it. You know.
just scrub it with a steel wool. Just use steel wool. That's how you get rid of like marks and stuff, right? With steel wool.
Yeah.
You have to sit on them. You sit on them to press them, and then you clean them with steel wool.
Right. Yeah. 100%. Just take 2 rocks and clang them a couple times, and you'll get the dirt off.
That's what I should do with the Golden Age comic I just bought. Is just bleach it to get those pages white, right?
No, 100%. Take a magic eraser and go right on Superman's red cape.
Clorox.
No, you don't want to do that. Only use a magic eraser on the white part of your comics.
Yeah.
Don't listen to us. No, listen to us. But
Well, listen to.
the good half.
There's facts sprinkled in here somewhere. You just have to find them.
The good half.
We'll just have to. I'm gonna clip some shorts of the bad information and put those out. And you'll have to counteract them with all the good ones.
Oh, man.
Anyways,
Yeah.
take care of your comics. There's right ways to do it. There's wrong ways to do it.
100%. If you want them to last and go into the future, we can flash forward
Yeah.
and keep them vertical. Keep them vertical. If you want to see what they look like in 100 years, I don't know. Let's go see the Flash movie or something.
Yeah. Flashpoint. What we should do, we should take like 5 comics and store them in different ways for X amount of time and see what happens.
Time capsule.
But I'm saying like we should like put one, just throw one in the back of my van, just leave it there for like 2 months, And then we'd like keep one perfect, and then like throw one like in an attic, throw one,
Throw one in a basement.
Yeah.
Just without bag and boards.
Yeah, just throw
like,
them. Well, we should do one without and one with, and see what bags and boards really do.
We'll have to get some dollar books. Let them be like 9.8 candidates, so they're all good looking. Should we do old books?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. If this actually happens, we'll figure it out.
We're gonna do it.
Check back in 3 months. Hit that like and subscribe button not to miss an episode.
Right? Join in on the time capsule endeavor with us.
Right. We should bury one.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying like bury one, just bury one.
Yeah. Like we're legitimately do a time capsule.
No, I'm saying like just take a comic book, dig a hole, throw it in there, and come back in a month and see what it looks like.
Okay.
Just not pay attention to it at all.
We should do one for a month, one for 6, and then one for a year.
Yes.
See what happens.
We'll figure this out eventually. All right. So take care of your comic books, guys.
Explosions!
Flash!
Savior of the universe.
We got a new Flash trailer, y'all.
We did. Flash Gordon. He's coming back from the 80s.
We
are jumping time periods.
Yeah,
a
little bit.
So maybe we'll get him. That'd be kind of cool. He's Reverse Flash.
I know. You have feelings about this movie a little bit.
I do.
Let me know your perspective on this movie.
So I loved the first trailer.
Yeah.
I loved this new trailer. This is the second trailer that they dropped. Okay, so obviously it's called The Flash.
Right.
It's obviously called The Flash, but after the first trailer, the second trailer is all Batman footage.
Pretty close.
It's all Keaton. It's starting to look like Keaton is the main selling point of this, even in the comments. I went down to the comment section. It was on Rotten Tomatoes YouTube channel, and it was like Rotten Tomatoes trailers, and they were all talking about Keaton coming back and Batman. Not one thing in the comments was about Flash and stuff like that. So it makes me wonder, is this just gonna be a Batman movie?
Right, yeah.
Which I'm fine with.
You confuse me so much because I got here and you're like, I'm excited for the new Batman movie. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But Brave and Bold? Like, what are you talking about?
No, The Flash.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. I'm very excited for the new Batman movie coming out. The Flash is going to be jumping around, changing timelines.
Like, some of the Flash stuff in this trailer is just the same Flash stuff as the other trailer. There's new Batman stuff in this trailer.
Yeah.
I guess the real question is, how much Batman stuff are we going to get? Have we seen most of it? Or is it going to be like a big Batman movie? There's going to be a lot of Batman. There's 2 Batmans.
Yeah. I mean, like, we already know we have a problematic actor. So how much footage did they really get? Good footage.
Yeah.
Did they really get from that problematic actor?
We'll see.
And
there it is.
We have a Class A actor, Michael Keaton, and another Class A. No. Michael Keaton. Let's say Class B for Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck starts with B. Michael Keaton, Class M.
What's your back class?
I think there's some pretty cool stuff in this one though, like where the Batwing thing is coming down from inside the cave, and that was super
These
cool.
are all callbacks right to Batman 89.
And it looks so good too.
I know.
Like, there's definitely cool stuff in this trailer. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. I get so skeptical with trailers sometimes because I'm like, did I click on the right one? Is this just a fan created one? Like, but this one looks good.
Yeah, this was legitimately
straight from like the WB YouTube page.
Yeah.
So I'm getting more excited about this. I wasn't like super excited about it. I'm not the big Michael Keaton fan that you are, but like there's some elements of this that look really good, and all the Batman suits and all that stuff. I'm super excited about. So.
Me too. I'm the thing I think that I'm most excited about is that like Hot Toys is now doing the reissue of their Michael Keaton figure, which the last time they did it, which I think was like 2010 or something like that, the cape kind of sucked. And the cape started
I feel like
deteriorating.
capes always suck.
Yeah, but this one actually looks cool.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually a good cape.
Does it look cool, or is it Like,
it's good. It's good. I was watching Justin's Collectibles, or Justin Collects on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go check his videos out. He does a lot of hot toys, and I think that's what he specializes in, is hot toys and stuff from Sideshow. So every once in a while he'll have a statue or two, but he does the reviews, and he literally side by side compared one of the new ones to one of the old figures, or maybe kind of side by side. I think it was a little bit more B-roll than anything, because I don't think that figure's out yet.
Okay. Yeah.
But-
yeah. Like website shots and stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, so everything just looks a lot better with it. It's straight up Michael Keaton, dude. Like, yeah, like I'm like, I have to have this thing, and set up a whole little bat cave, because they have all these different kinds of collectibles with that stuff.
That's dope. I'm excited for this movie. When does it come out? We looked earlier, didn't it?
Yes, July.
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 The July sounds right.
Yeah, July 9th,
Ish.
4th, 2nd.
If we don't know, then you should figure it out.
I'm gonna have a lot of fun on my birthday. My birthday's in July, so yeah.
Right on.
I'm ready. I'm ready for that one. Probably hit the movie theater, then go to Six Flags and ride the Batman ride. And yeah, that'll be how I spend my birthday.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm super excited. We are getting a Flash movie. You know, it's cool for the Flash to be getting his own movie, but everything's going to be changing after this. So we just got to see how it comes out. All in all, for this movie, I'm very excited for the pure fact that Keaton is coming back, and that was my introduction to Batman as a child and everything. So I think that's where I get so attached to Keaton.
Well, like we talked about in the Shazam review podcast, if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. But DC hasn't had a good track record with the last few movies, so we'll see what this one brings, you know. And that, I think they're at the point where they have to do something with the universe kind of crumbling around them, getting ready for the new one. And, you know, theater numbers just not looking good, and people being burnt out on superhero movies in general.
I think all the Keaton fans are going to come back, and I think this is going to be very similar to how Keaton was back in the day. I think this is going to be DC's next biggest thing that they're going to have to one up, and they're not going to be able to.
Well, they got Blue Beetle coming too, so
which looks amazing.
The Blue Beetle does look good.
Which looks amazing, but that's a month after Keaton hits the big screen, and I feel like that's what they're going to push. Realistically, I think that the Blue Beetle is going to be a better movie.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a better movie, but I think box office numbers, just because Keaton is who he is, he's gonna put the booties in the seats.
Booties.
Booties. You know, the things that, like, you can sit on your foot and, like, not have to damage the seat because you put the booty on your shoe. That's what I meant. I'm joking.
I have no idea what you're talking
You never seen those booties that you have to put on your feet? Like when the cable guy comes over, he's like, let me put my booties on.
Oh, but you said sitting on your... Oh, I'm so confused.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, you know, puts the booties in the seats. So, like, you can actually sit on your foot and, like, you know, put the booty on your foot, sit on your foot, and not have to worry about damaging the chair. Did you get that? Am I saying it's stupid?
I feel like just like do that and then zoom in on me.
Explosions!
So I figured out what most comic book stores are missing. Hot dogs.
Oh my gosh.
Dude. Hot dogs need to be in more comic book stores. So... And you need to put ketchup on all of them.
Is this because I sent you that video?
Yep. Yeah, and you have to explain it because I don't know exactly what happened, but hot dogs.
YouTuber Chris Rendell, I believe is his name, if I'm saying that right, if I recall. I didn't have it written down. I should have wrote it down. But he went to the same shop. Did you see that video that Andrew Tate
I don't know.
went to this like secret vault? So there's this this comic shop owner. I forgot what his Instagram handle was, but it was like Super Fast Comics or
if you find it, put it on the screen.
Speedycomicsme.
Okay,
that's what it was. Speedycomicsme. So he's a comic shop owner, and there was this video of Andrew Tate going to his shop and checking out his vault, It's actually got a really cool setup. It looks really, really nice. He put a lot of money into it. But the video that went viral from Andrew Tate going there was him taking this Superman #1 and saying that it was worth like $10 million.
Okay.
Like literally saying that it's
Yeah.
worth $10 million. We know that it's not worth $10 million because it's not the nicest copy in the world. In fact, I went and saw this other video that I sent to you, and this YouTuber went and saw that same book, and I saw that it said NG on the CGC slab. I've never seen an NG on a CGC case before in my life.
What is NG?
The only thing that I can think of is not graded.
Oh, okay.
Is that he paid for it to get slabbed, but not graded.
Oh, okay.
Because then that puts a value on the book.
Okay. That's weird.
Yeah, you can see where it's going a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's saying a book that is it's worth a lot of money. It's worth a lot of money. To keep in mind, we just had that conversation with Darren Watts. He has the second nicest copy in the world, graded at a 7.0, that is currently being valued at $3.5 million.
Not 10?
No, not 10. Second nicest copy in the world.
Yeah.
For $3.5 million. So this guy has a not graded copy in a CGC slab for $10 million.
What if NG stands for not good?
Yeah, right? Yeah, just not good. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
All I know is that it has to be pretty bad because, like, a 0.1 literally says poor on it. So, like, what is NG? Right. Not graded.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and this guy went and checked out his shop. Just so happens the biggest thing on there is that he has a hot dog stand. In it. So like
that's my favorite part.
Dude, he has this big sign out front of his comic shop. The hot dog's inside, and it's this big comic shop with a hot dog stand.
Just like Home Depot.
Yeah,
just like Home Depot.
I was just so thrown. I'm like, why would what?
Yeah.
Let's get greasy fingers from eating hot dogs,
ketchup, mustard,
and go sift through some comics.
Yeah.
Yet alone, there's a Superman #1 right there that I can just go. He walked up to this vault. I think it's a fake vault, so it's like a costume vault.
Yeah.
Basically. So it's probably like a lightweight door that he just went up to and opened.
Right.
That anybody could probably go up to and open. Probably doesn't really lock.
Right.
Which it probably should, because he actually has millions of dollars of comics in this room, but. His values are so blown out of proportion.
Really?
I was getting mad.
You're just like eating a hot dog and just like, can I see that Superman #1?
Yeah, it's not graded, dude. Can you just give it to me?
Can you give it to me?
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah, he said that he got offered.
I'll bury it. I'll put it in a hole in the ground.
He said
I'll
he got
make sure
offered,
I bleach
like,
the pages with Clorox. Take care of it real good, like.
real good. Right. Oh gosh.
He got offered what?
He got offered for like a Captain America #1. He said like a like $3 or $4 million, which is also not
accurate.
Yeah,
okay.
You know, so like at that point, as a smart businessman, when you're getting offers for double of what your comic
it's probably
is
the
worth,
hot dogs.
Are you gonna say no?
It's probably the hot dogs. The hot
it's
dogs.
keeping the shop alive. He's a hot dog restaurant.
No,
that
nobody
has
would ever
comics.
offer him more than what it's worth if it wasn't for the hot dogs. The hot dogs make it. You know, I was going to spend $100 today, but I had a hot dog.
Yeah, so I'm gonna spend $10 million. But I had a hot dog. What's in those hot dogs, man?
Right.
But
maybe we're not thinking about this right.
maybe
There's
it's
something in the
genius.
hot dogs.
Yeah.
Cheese. It's cheese.
It's cheese. It's bacon. It's bacon. You know, something to clog the arteries, slow the blood flow to the brain.
Yeah.
To really take advantage of the customer. That's what it seems like this guy is doing.
He just gives them the worst hot dogs in the world. He takes the customer's money, and then after they pay for it, the hot dog gives them a heart attack. So he doesn't lose the comic or the money.
Yeah, it just goes and gets it back. Yeah. Oh gosh, man. But
business.
yeah, so many things about that would get me so frustrated. And then he comes across this nicely displayed in this pretty looks like kind of custom wooden box, autographed Superman 75, which is the death of Superman.
Okay,
and it was the first print. It was the yellow one. Said it was currently valued. Keep it on. And he was throwing numbers out, and when he would say, I forget what type of money he was using because he's in another country. But when he said the other type, of money, they said, so he would be like 55,000 pounds, and they would say $18,000. But then he would say $10,000.
Okay.
You know, so like he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
When,
he knew
like,
the conversion.
Yeah, you know.
Better than you do, apparently.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it sounds like this guy made up his own conversion because he has this signed Superman #1. I have the same Superman #1 in that box, and I was like $10,000. Let me find that book.
Yeah.
You know, so I went and looked it up. That's not why I went and looked it up. I was like, that's not worth $10,000. I know it's not worth $10,000 because I sell them for 10, and I find them all the time, and then I sell them again for 10. You know, like that's the value of the book. It's a $10 to $15 book. You're lucky if you get $15 to $20 out of it. Granted, it's signed, so it's not slabbed. No certificate of authenticity.
Okay.
So it could just be. So realistically, he's got the first print of it with some marker on the front of it,
right,
and says it's valued at $10,000. I went on eBay, found one right now that I can buy it now for $10, and it's 9.8.
Right, it's
graded, a CGC graded slab for $10.
It's the hot dogs.
I don't know why I didn't just buy it for $10.
It's the hot dogs, bro.
They're just putting some in the hot dogs.
Just
slowing that blood flow.
Oh, there's not blood getting to my brain, so I will spend $1 million.
I'm thinking with the wrong head.
Do you mind if I just give you my house instead? Actually, I don't want any comics. Give me 6 hot dogs. I'll give you my house.
Can I have hot dogs and you can have my house? Yeah, that's logical, but. That's this guy's logic.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's still got a shop, so he's doing some.
If he's doing something, he's ripping people off. He's like, I sold one to my friend for $1 million something or whatever to some other book, and I was like, that comic is not worth that much money. So whatever friend you have probably isn't a friend anymore.
Right.
Like,
man, hot dogs.
Yeah. Hot dogs and Superman #1. Keep in mind, I think Nicolas Cage. Providence collection Superman sold for $4 million.
Oh, geez.
And that's just because he's Nicolas Cage.
Right.
On top of the book being what it is. So 10 million or 6 million, whatever he was saying, my butt.
My butt. My dog.
My dog. Dude, I've always wanted a wiener.
Diggity dog.
Have you ever had a wiener dog? Your dog's pretty small.
No, I never had a wiener dog. No,
dude, I've always wanted a wiener dog. You want to know why?
What are you gonna call it?
Wiener. I don't know. I just want to be able to say I tripped over my wiener.
On that note, let's do a pull list.
Let's do it, man. I'll show you what I'm pulling.
Explosions!
Diving on into our pull list this week. I'm going to show you what I'm pulling, man. What are you pulling this week?
I'm pulling the free comics. I'm stingy, bro. Right. I ain't spending $10 million on no comics.
Can you put free comic book day pulls on your pull list?
They are. Anyways, it's free comic book day, and we're gonna be picking up, or I'm gonna be picking up. I don't know what y'all are doing. Go pick up free comics. Why not? You're watching our podcast. You might like comics a little bit.
Yeah, there's always multiple comics that are given out on free comic book
I honestly didn't know about free comic book day until we started this podcast. I think we got like a mystery bag or something of comics, and there was a free comic book day. Oh, there's the collecting tips. When we were collecting, talk about how to collect and why to collect and how, like, whatever. One of the things we talked about was free comic book day, and I didn't. That was like when I found out what it was. So this is like my first free comic book day, and I'd be stingy with the money. So this,
right? You gotta be, man.
So I'm gonna pick up some free comics, definitely. Covering book #1 this week is Dawn of DC, Night Terrors #1. It's DC's free comic book, and it says all year long they're celebrating classic characters. So it kind of sounds like they're going to be like introducing this into like a series. So they're going to be doing more than just the free comic book day, but this is like a jump in point. So
for Dawn of DC, for that arc.
Also like a decent like connector for people who have been following the storyline and know what's going on. So it's kind of covering both pages. So, and classic DC characters you can't really go wrong with. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So definitely a good pickup. and you get it for free. So why not?
What's better than free, man?
That's book number 1 on the list. What's book number 2?
Book number 2. Batman Deadly Duo, issue number 7, man. We're getting to the end of this arc. I'm so stoked on this. I'm a little bit behind, but once again, this is just an iconic, or what I'm going to assume that is going to be an iconic team up. This is the first time that the Batman and the Joker are teaming up, and we are getting super close to the end of this story arc. I think they're going to have a total of 9 issues.
There we go.
So a total of 9. We're on issue number 7. Next one comes out in June, and then I think the last one is going to finish up in July. So super stoked to be finishing up this arc. I'm a little upset that it's taken so long to finish.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say is the style and the art of this is so cool too. The covers are cool. There's a lot of cool stuff. The story is cool. This team up is iconic in itself, but paired with the artists that they got on the covers, the inside art, all of it is. They did it. Number 3 is going to be another free comic book from Marvel. We're getting Spider-Man and Venom number 1. So this is going to be... It says they're ready for a war, and it is set up for catastrophe, and this could possibly be the beginning of the end of symbiotes. So that's kind of a big deal.
Free comic books, just like free subscriptions and free notification bells that you guys can click and turn on.
Follow us on Spotify. Follow us where you get your podcasts.
Yep. We got Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, the whole 9 yards.
Hey, this is episode 29.
We're diving in. We're going deep.
We've been around.
We've been here.
29 weeks. We're 29 weeks old. We're going to do 29 more at least.
At least. at the very least. I want to keep this going for a long time. I'm having a lot of fun. Very thankful.
And it's free to subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
Just like free comic book day. Every day is free YouTube day.
Right. You can also, hop over to the Whatnot because I give away a book before every Whatnot stream and at the end of every Whatnot stream because they just actually introduced buyer appreciation.
Buyer appreciation.
Giveaways. Yep.
All right. Maybe I'll have to buy some stuff again.
Yep.
What's book number 4, man?
Book number 4, we're diving into Moon Knight 23. The only reason I grabbed this one was because Venom was on the cover, and this looks like it's a Venom and Moon Knight team up. They're literally teaming up. They're on the same side, so this is going to be a fun one. It's going to be super cool. Moon Knight is basically Batman for Marvel, and Venom, I guess you could say he's kind of like the Joker. So this is pretty much Marvel's deadly duo.
Yeah. Could be. Well, we'll have this discussion another time. But I never understood the Batman Moon Knight comparison.
I think it's just the
fighting style.
Yeah.
It has to be
it's the combat and the
moonerangs.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, what did I call it before?
Yeah.
Moonerangs.
But there's just so much that doesn't line up. But anyways,
yes, but
this does look like a dope book. This looks like a cool book.
Those variants are so sick.
Yeah,
man. They have quite a few different variants on this one. How can you not? Anytime, you have an excuse to draw Venom in a really cool way, do it. I wonder if this is gonna start tying into the Lethal Protector line at all.
Yeah, I was just thinking they just finished a lot of Spider-Man stuff, and now it seems like Venom is everywhere. The Venom is in the free comic book. Venom has the Lethal Protector line started. Venom is in Moon Knight. We're talking about Venom 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if that's from the movie, if that's movie spec, if they're trying to push the hype on Venom. But I feel like about a year ago, I got really, really hyped on Venom. And then I fell off for 2 or 3 months. And then I started hearing about everybody talking about Venom.
Well, coming about a year ago, we would have been wrapping up. We probably would have been wrapping up or getting to the end of, not Dark Knight. What is it called?
The Batman?
No. Venom. King in Black.
Yeah.
So about a year ago, we would have been wrapping up King in Black around that time.
Dang.
So you would have been seeing a lot of stuff coming from that, I'd imagine.
Yeah, probably. Just I caught the tail end of it, I think.
Yeah. You know what else is cool?
What?
Checking out the description for things like free money when you use our code to sign up for Whatnot. Get free $10 using that link.
You don't have to use it on our stream.
10% off of W at W.GG to get your jitterless energy using code Collective Comics at checkout. And until next time, this has been Collective Comics.